Welcome to Unit 12 of the Lay Pastors Ministry Equipping Seminar on Confidentiality. In this segment, Ron Davidson, a professional counselor on staff with Hope Presbyterian Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota, discusses the importance of confidentiality in the Lay Pastors Ministry. Here to introduce Ron is Dr. Mel Steinbraun.
We have Ron Davidson with us to teach us on confidentiality. Ron is a member of the counseling staff at Hope Presbyterian Church in Minneapolis, but he also has a hands-on experience with the lay pastor's ministry. His wife, Judy, is a lay pastor, and Ron is a shepherd, a lay pastor of lay pastors. Confidentiality is one of the most important pieces of the lay pastor's ministry as we've been talking about it. Ron, could you help us by giving us a definition of confidentiality?
I'd be happy to. The first definition I will give is that of the dictionary definition, which is to keep secret. Now, in my profession as counselor, we can make the definition even go further, which I think is even more deeply applicable to what we do here. First of all, it is especially important in counseling. The patient reveals his private personality, that which he holds secret from the world. He communicates his struggles, his conflicts, his thoughts, real and fantasy, to the counselor. Confidentiality in counseling is necessary not only to protect the patient from embarrassment and disgrace, but also to accomplish treatment, which is the purpose of the relationship. A patient will not speak freely with a counselor if disclosure is likely. Effective treatment calls for true and complete communication by the patient of all his ideas and associations. Thus, treatment through counseling requires confidentiality to be successful. There's another point here, Mel, too, about confidentiality, which goes beyond the sphere of the patient. And that is, confidentiality fosters a related public interest. It induces the hesitant person in need of treatment to seek it out. And I would say the same for the lay pastoring. In regard to having that confidentiality, we think about trust, and we embrace that trust. We embrace the relationship. And if we were to break that and go forward and say, well, this person has this going on or that going on, we're making judgments, we're making decisions, and we're disgracing that person. And so it's a real responsibility. It's a real dear thing to hold the confidentiality. And if there is a need, we will hopefully have that relationship strong enough where we can ask that individual, you know, is it okay if I take this forward to someone? I think I know someone that can help. But we have to have the nurturing and the confidentiality, the solidity, before we're really ready to do that. And when I think about relationships, I think about trust, and that is the firm belief and the reliability that another individual will maintain confidentiality in what I disclose, tell, or admit. And through trust, what evolves? We have belief in that individual, faith. I come to you, Mel, and I have the trust, and in that there's faith, there's belief that you will not disclose. I have confidence in that, and I feel that you're very committed to the relationship. And in this too, there's another word that which I feel is very, very indicative of the relationship, and that is guardianship. And that you take it in, and you kind of guard that confidentiality, that relationship. And whenever I take it further, I transpose it into, you care. This has evolved, but it's taken time. We've worked at it, and it's evolved. And in care, there's very serious attention and thought. And to feel and have concern or interest in me. And in that, the way it's evolved is through nurture. And in the relationship, we feed, we nourish, we cherish the context of that relationship, the godliness that's within each of us. And we give support and we encourage one another, both in when times are joyful or difficult or in between. So, and I look at it too as the relationship as it's worked on and as it evolves. There becomes more of a level of comfort, and we hold that relationship dear. And we revere the relationship. And there are other words like honor, respect, reverence, esteem, appreciate and valuing. And we have great regard. And when you have that, you have something very, very special. And in the specialness, so many wonderful things can evolve. And and that person can really, really come forward and they can open their heart in time. And they say, hey, I need some support. Or I'm feeling great about this. I want to share it with you. And the other thing that I would really like to stress as we work on these relationships in the lay pastoring, I have found that as the relationships have developed, that it's not a one-sided street. And I get nourished too. And there are others that I can go to that I trust. And I value that. I value that greatly. But it doesn't happen overnight. And that's something that really needs to be stressed. And we work at it. We're love with skin on. Yeah. And we keep at it. And not in a way that, we just bang, bang, bang. But we wait. But we're consistent. But we wait for that person's heart to open, for them to invite us in and say, hey, I'm ready. And so that's the value of consistency. So it's not a hit or miss proposition. It takes a commitment and real love and real care. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts, Mel?
You were, this sounds good, Ron, and it helps us to understand the importance of earning the right to hear the confidences of a person. Mm-hmm. And it may take a long period of time. I've just been trying to process this in my own mind as you've been speaking. You were telling a story or two. Does that fit at this time?
Yeah. First of all, there's a Vietnamese proverb which I think is very applicable to this. And the proverb states that when you go to hell, that God provides an abundance of food. However, he gives the individual that goes to hell chopsticks that are a yard long. Now, can you imagine? Pretty tough to feed yourself. The same situation occurs in heaven, but there is one difference. The people in heaven take the chopsticks and they feed one another. And that is, again, a great deal of the relationship, being able to feed one another. Another story that really sticks in my mind is there's a small country in Europe, and within the country there were two rabbis. One was old and wise, a very learned man, and the people respected him immensely. The other was a young rabbi, and he was very, very envious of the older rabbi. The old rabbi would make a pilgrimage once a year throughout the country and visit all the villages. So the young rabbi, wanting so desperately to be noted and be held in high esteem, decided, aha, I will go whenever the old rabbi comes to our village, and I will come forth and I will ask a question, and in that I will have a bird in my hand. And I will hold the bird up, and I will say, Rabbi, is the bird alive, or is the bird dead? And of course, the young rabbi has a choice. If the old rabbi says the bird is dead, the young rabbi opens his hand and lets the bird fly away. Or if he says that it's alive, he crushes it. So the old rabbi looks at the young rabbi as he asks the question. He looks at him with great compassion and care. And he says, the choice is yours, my son. And so it is with our relationships. We can nourish them or we can squelch them.
A lot has to do with our will, then, what
Yes.
we want to do.
Yes, it does.
And in the relationships, whether we will have the strength of will to keep things confidential, or if we'll get careless and begin to tell somebody else and thereby break the trust.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ron. We appreciate so very much a man who's a professional counselor to help us to understand what confidentiality is because of the extreme importance of confidentiality in the lay pastor's ministry.
This concludes Unit 12. Please stop the tape. Our next unit will focus on managing the difficulties of lay pastoring.